Yes.
Mr. Mattson, don't interrupt me, please.
Mr.
Mr. Mattson, do not interrupt me, please.
I think the court is making a big mistake here.
Mr. Mattson,
I've never signed anything for
Mr.
the court
Mattson, if you don't
in the
stop talking, I'm
contract.
going to your device.
Well, I didn't want
Mr.
Mr.
Mattson,
Daly
stop
as my
talking.
attorney. I'm a living flesh and blood man. They're trying to sentence an all caps name. It's not me. I'm a living flesh and blood man. You're after a fictional person.
All right, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the wildest courtroom showdowns you'll ever see. On one side, we've got Mr. Mattson, a textbook sovereign citizen who insists he's a living flesh and blood man, and that the court is after his all-caps fictional name. If that sounds confusing, don't worry, it's supposed to be. Sovereign citizens thrive on pseudo-legal jargon that sounds deep but collapses the second a real judge pushes back. And speaking of judges, wait until you see the one presiding over this case. No nonsense, razor sharp, and absolutely fed up with Mattson's rambling interruptions. What makes this clash so gripping is the sheer persistence. Mattson refuses to stop talking, while the judge calmly dismantles every nonsense argument with authority. By the end, the judge's patience runs out, and let's just say the sentencing is not what Mattson had in mind. So stick around.
The only one I've ever taken an oath to is God Almighty himself. There's only one lawgiver, one creator, one judge. That's God Almighty. That's who I recognize.
And sir, you are Robert Joseph Mattson, correct?
Well, I'm a living flesh and blood man, attorney for a public officer or statutory citizen judge. I'm a living flesh and blood man.
All right. You are the living flesh and blood man who's known as Robert Mattson, correct?
Attorney for Robert Joseph Mattson, which would be the all caps name. Judge, there was something that I was trying to talk to my attorney about. Before you let me out of the hospital, I was in the hospital or the jail. I was experiencing a lot of pain and trouble. The jail was not treating me properly. After I got out of the jail, I went to the hospital, and they hurried and rushed me to Toledo Hospital, where I almost died. Had I not been released from jail when I did, I would be dead in that county jail.
All right, Mr. Mattson, we're here for your sentencing hearing today. I'm not really able to address issues of medical treatment while at the jail.
Well, I was just saying that there was something I agreed to.
Mr. Mattson, don't interrupt me, please. The medical treatment that people receive at the jail is not within my purview, and I'm not going to address that today. So,
well, I just saying I was going to address my.
Mr. Mattson, do not interrupt me, please. Have you had an opportunity to read and review your pre-sentence report?
I did with the secretary for Mr. Daly.
Have you had an opportunity to discuss your pre-sentence report with Mr. Daly?
I haven't had an opportunity to discuss it with him. I did with the secretary.
My secretary got a hold of him.
Mr. Daly, if you could just let me allow him to finish his answer. What were you saying, Mr. Mattson?
I did with the secretary. I talked to her over the phone and told her everything looked good. And I believe Mr. Daly was supposed to get back a hold of me. I don't know if he got too busy or something else happened.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mattson. Mr. Daly, you wanted to say something on that issue.
Yes, sir. My secretary contacted him in regards to the PSI. He said everything was right. He had no complaints about anything. I still tried to contact him back, didn't get an answer.
All right. So what we'll do is have, if Mr. Daly, if you'd be willing to step out into the hallway, we have an iPad out there that we can log into the Zoom session.
But I don't think he needs that. He's ready to be sentenced, Your Honor. You have any other questions, Mr. Mattson?
Yeah, Judge, I think the court is making a
dramatic moment, and trust me, there are plenty. Let's dive in. 222222222222222. This is sovereign citizen bingo at its finest. Notice how Mattson keeps repeating the phrase, living flesh and blood man. That's their favorite go-to trick, claiming they exist separately from the fictional person created by the government. In reality, courts have zero patience for this nonsense. By affirming his identity, Mattson thinks he's dodging jurisdiction. But here's the kicker. He already pleaded guilty earlier. That's like saying, yes, I robbed the bank, but only my fictional name is guilty, not me.
I appreciate that, Mr. Mattson, and we've
I'm not
discussed it
doing any of
before.
my rights or immunities. I'm not a statutory citizen. I am sovereign. I'm not somebody who's under the
Mr. Mattson,
jurisdiction. I've never signed anything for
Mr.
the court.
Mattson, if you don't
in the
stop talking, I'm
contract.
going to mute your device. Okay? I've discussed all of these issues with you before.
Okay.
And
Well, I object, but I mean,
Mr.
you're going to
Mattson,
sentence me. That's what you're
all
doing.
right. I've muted Mr. Mattson's device because he won't stop interrupting me. Mr. Mattson, what I'm trying to tell you is that we had discussed these issues before. You've raised those issues. I've ruled against those issues. And ultimately, you pled guilty of your own choice to the controlled substance possession of narcotic less than 25 grams. And so I'm going to sentence you on that charge today. If you'd like, I will have Mr. Daly step into the hall and you can have a breakout session with him so you can speak with him about your pre-sentence investigation report. If you have questions or things that you want to talk with him about regarding that report. So I'm going to unmute your device now, and I want you to tell me whether you want a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. You want a breakout session with Mr. Daly?
Well, I've tried to talk to Mr. Daly before, I mean,
Mr.
about this.
Mattson,
And,
answer my question. Do you
Yes,
want
sir.
a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not?
Your Honor, you're going to do what you're going to do. I mean, I've tried to talk to the courts and reason with the courts. I mean, if you're going to sentence me today, then I just file for an appeal. I'm an objection to anything that happens today. I was under duress when I took the plea due to my life was at stake.
Mr. Mattson, please answer my question. Do you want a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not?
Mr. Daly hasn't been much of help for me, Your Honor. So I mean,
That is not an answer to my question, Mr. Mattson. Please answer the question. Do you want a breakout session with him or not?
Sorry, Your Honor. It just ain't been doing me any help, no justice at all. I mean, I've already said what I had to say. If the courts is going to sentence me today, then that's what they're going to do. I don't agree with anything that's going on today. I'm sorry. It's just my life was at stake when I had talked to the courts.
All right, Mr. Mattson, please stop
Yes, sir.
talking. So you refuse to answer my question about whether you want a breakout session with Mr. Daly or not. The law
Well, I
entitled-
didn't want
Mr.
Mr.
Mattson,
Daly
stop
as my
talking.
attorney.
Think delusion or just a last-ditch effort to dodge accountability. 222222222222222. Right here, you can almost feel the judge shifting gears. This isn't a trial anymore. The guilty plea is in, and all that's left is sentencing. Yet Mattson can't resist dragging up medical complaints, constitutional jargon, and anything else to stall. This is a classic sovereign citizen tactic. Flood the courtroom with irrelevant chatter to derail the process. But judges know better. Notice how the judge calmly but firmly reminds him, this is sentencing, not a medical review. That's court.
The record, I placed Mr. Mattson on mute again because he's continually interrupting me. Mr. Mattson, what I'm trying to explain to you is that you have the right to discuss your pre-sentence report with your attorney before the sentencing. I've asked you 4, 5, maybe 6 times now whether you want to have the opportunity for that breakout session, and you won't give me a simple yes or no answer. So what I'm going to do right now is ask Mr. Daly to step into the hallway. We'll set up that iPad. I'm going to put you in a breakout session with Mr. Daly in order to make sure that I comply with your rights to have that breakout session. So at this point, I'm going to set that up, whether you want it or not, so that we have complied with that requirement.
A few minutes later.
Judge, I just had a repeat of a conversation you already had. I'm prepared for sentencing.
All right, Mr. Mattson, you've now had an opportunity to discuss the pre-sentence report with Mr. Daly. Is that correct?
No, he didn't want to hear me, Your Honor. He just told me that he was here to get me sentenced. I tried to talk to him about things. I tried to talk to him before we even went to court about things that was going on with my life and me about dying, and as far as being incarcerated in jail, which he didn't ever try to help me out because if he would have did an investigation and known that I was in court and I was wrongfully put in jail. I told him I'm not a statutory citizen. I'm a constitutional citizen. I mean, he don't care to do anything to help me. All he cares about is just helping you guys out and get me sucked into the system, and it's wrong.
All right, for the record, I did provide Mr. Matson with an opportunity with Mr. Daly in a breakout session. Mr. Matson.
Yes, sir.
Satisfied with Mr. Daly and the advice that he's given you?
I'm not satisfied with the advice he's giving me, no, sir.
Do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that's in your pre-sentence report?
The stuff that's in the pre-sentence report is directed to a statutory citizen. I'm not a statutory citizen. I'm a constitutional citizen. You cannot be a constitutional person and a statutory person at the same time, Your Honor. You have to be constitutional rights, which the court's designed to protect rights. So I was asking you, Judge, are you working as a banker or a judge today? I mean, there's nothing to show that there's even is there anything to show that there's even a contract between us? I mean, is there?
This isn't a contract issue, Mr. Matson. Well, it's a criminal law issue.
In order for the crime to exist, Your Honor, there must be an injured party. Is there an injured party? I mean, in the constitutional rights, Share Vistas colon 481 F 945. In order for there to be a crime, there ought to be an injured party. If there's no injured party, there's no crime.
Severe. The judge's patience or Matson's stamina for nonsense. 222222222222222. And there it is, the mute button, the sovereign citizen's kryptonite. After endless interruptions, the judge simply silences him, proving once again that courtroom authority doesn't bend to word games. This moment is so telling. Matson's entire strategy depends on talking over everyone, never letting the court gain control. But once he's muted, his power play collapses instantly. Think about it. If your entire legal defense can be destroyed by the mute button on Zoom, maybe it wasn't much of a defense.
You're arguing the basis of your conviction. Again, you pled guilty to this charge. What I'm asking you is whether, Mr. Matson, what I'm asking you is whether you'd wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or the relevancy of any of the information that is in your pre-sentence report. So is any of that information inaccurate?
Inaccurate as far as the person that reports they're trying to sentence in all caps names. And it's not me. I'm a living flesh and blood man. You're after a fictional person.
All right. So with respect to that argument, what the court will say is that I will leave the information that is in the pre-sentence report in the pre-sentence report and deny what seems to be some kind of a request to modify the pre-sentence report based on an argument that doesn't state any cognizable legal theory about a difference between Mr. Matson as a human being and Mr. Matson as something else. So the pre-sentence report will stand.
Well, Your Honor, you never even explained to me what the jurisdiction was. I tried from the beginning that
Mr. Matson,
the jurisdiction of the court is.
I'm going to mute Mr. Matson again because he continues to interrupt me with a line of argument that I don't even know what to say about it. It just is, it's not a legal argument at all. It is some kind of fanciful belief that there's a difference between Mr. Matson, the human being, and Mr. Matson as some other entity, which is not recognized by the law, and I'm not going to entertain it any further. The probation officers calculated the minimum sentencing guidelines in this case to be from 0 to 9 months. Do you agree with that computation of guidelines?
I do.
Thank you. Before the court passes sentence, Mr. Daly, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Matson?
I've had the same conversations with Mr. Madsen the courts had. He's never wanted to talk about this case. He's always wanted to talk about what he perceived are constitutional issues. He pled guilty. He knew what he was doing. I do know that. I'm prepared to complete the sentencing.
To unmute your microphone, and I'm going to give you an opportunity for allocution. That's an opportunity to say anything that you'd like to say on your own behalf before the court passes sentence.
Yes, sir. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?
You said that I can say anything that I wish before sentencing.
You can.
I'm sorry, sir.
You can.
Okay. Yes, sir. Your Honor. I mean, before I took that plea, I told Mr. Daly that I wanted to sit there. I wanted him to sit there, get the cameras for the courts to prove that I was at the court date the day that I was put in jail, and said that that I wasn't in the court for a contempt of court. He said, and I told him I wanted to fight my case, but I had to be out because I had medical issues. Mr. Daly said that's fine and all, but if you stay here and you fight this case, they'll keep you in here for a year fighting your case. You will not be let out of jail. Your Honor, I couldn't do that. I was in major pain. I would have died in that jail. My proof is within the doctor's records in the hospital. I had a serious condition which would have left me dead within a week from the time that I took the plea. The following day after I got up, my wife was killed in a car accident. Because everything's been going downhill for me ever since. And now this with the courts. I don't feel that I've had a fair chance with the courts ever since I even started with the courts, because the courts has not proven jurisdiction to me. I've not written any papers out agreeing in the contract saying that the courts can have any kind of jurisdiction over me. I have not relinquished any sovereign immunities that I have. I just don't feel like there's been anything fair, which is not going to be with the court system. I mean, I've tried to say I'm not a statutory person who is within your jurisdiction. If anything, I'd be considered constitutional, but I'm not even under the constitutional laws, but I will use them if I feel necessary as a constitutional living flesh and blood man. There is no injured party. The only injured party would be the state's laws, which the state cannot be the prosecutor, the injured party, and the judge. There's nothing's right. The court case either had been dismissed or moved to a higher court. And I wasn't going to sit there and be left in jail to fight my case for a year. I would have been dead. I've been stupid not to sit there and just agree with a plea that I didn't even agree with in the first place, just to save my life. I don't think that's fair at all. It's not right. There's nothing but wrong here. It's injustice, not
22222. Okay, can we talk about this for a second? The cowboy hat. Courtrooms are some of the strictest environments when it comes to respect and decorum. No hats, no sunglasses, no nonsense. Yet here's Madsen, rocking his giant hat like he's headed to the rodeo instead of sentencing. Combine that with his refusal to give the judge a straight yes or no answer, and it's peak sovereign citizen energy. Defiance disguised as principle. It's actually fascinating how something as small as refusing to remove a hat or answer directly is used to test the judge's authority. Spoiler alert.
You can't be a constitutional person and a statutory person at the same time. Either you're one or the other. And Wi-Fi wasn't working properly on my computer. I couldn't draw up my own paperwork. I've been in nothing but severe pain. I've been able to move around and do much of anything for myself. The only one I've ever taken an oath to is God Almighty himself. There's only one lawgiver, one creator, one judge. That's God Almighty. That's who I recognize. For me to sit there and agree to anything more than that would be me sitting there violating the laws of my God.
All right. In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of your offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what's been said on the record here this morning. the criteria and reasons for the sentence or the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, vindication for the law, and the protection of society. As indicated, with respect to these sovereign citizen or whatever the other arguments you're making are, we've dealt with the jurisdiction issue in the past. I've ruled on that on at least one occasion, probably multiple occasions, and that ruling is not going to change.